Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash, for giving us the understanding of the Holy Bible through your men, beginning with the apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. These are the men that are worthy of double honors in the time that we're living in, which we're living in some very prophetic times. We're living at the end of the world in the sense of the Greek word eon, which means an age. That age being the age of Esau, Edom, which is the so-called white man, also known as the wicked in the Bible. We're living at the end of their world and the beginning of our world, the Israelites. Okay, and that's pursuant to 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9, as well as Matthew 24 and verse 3. So with that being said, Yahweh Bashma Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kodash Brakatham, to the 144,000 servants as well as the remaining elect of Israel. So this is going to be a brief update concerning the climate on a geopolitical level. Right now, the climate that we're living in, according to the Bible, we're living in a time of war, a season of war, which this war that we're prophesying about is World War III, as is written in Revelation 11 and verse 14. Behold, the second woe, as in World War II, which took place between the years of 1939 to 1945. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe, as in World War III, cometh quickly. Okay, and World War III, or the third woe, is going to be a war like never before. Okay, it's going to be a war full of burning and fuel of fire, as is written in Isaiah 9 and verse 5. That burning and fuel of fire is going to come from the nuclear missiles, the ICBMs, that are going to be shot and launched throughout the world, mainly targeting America, which is known as Babylon the Great. Okay, World War III is going to result in the complete destruction of America. Okay. And right now you have the world leaders of these various different countries that possess nuclear weapons spending more and more money on their nuclear weapons and defense spending. Okay, as we're going to read here concerning Britain, as you see from CNN. It says Britain ramps up defense spending and cuts foreign aid ahead of PM Starmer's crucial meeting with Trump. And this was posted this morning, Wednesday, February 26, 2025. It says Britain will accelerate an increase to its defense spending, Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced Tuesday on the eve of a crucial visit to meet US President Donald Trump in Washington that is set to be dominated by the future of the war in Ukraine. Starmer said he will raise military spending from 2.3% of Britain's GDP. GDP stands for gross domestic product, to 2.5% by 2027, and then again to 2.6% the following year, as a rift opens up between Trump and Europe over the future of the conflict. Okay, now the key word here is rift, because that's another thing that's happening. You know, there's a division that's taking place between the United States and Europe. And that's going to lead to the fulfillment of what's written in Revelation 17 and 16 concerning the beast hating the whore. The whore being symbolic for America, which is Babylon the Great in the Bible. The beast represents NATO in that instance. You know, their NATO allies, such as Great Britain, such as Germany, such as France. What's going to happen is that America's allies are going to end up shooting nuclear missiles upon America, all right, for one reason or another. And it begins with this, you know, this tension that's happening between the United States and Europe. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's look up this word rift real quick. So it says rift, as a noun. Crack, breach, split, or break in something. Number 2, a serious break in friendly relations. Okay? So again, you've got Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, as is written, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So that prophecy concerning the beast hating the whore, we can see it happening in real time. It's speaking loud and clear. If you're spiritual, if you've been given the eye salve to understand these scriptures, in which that's what we've been given, through the Spirit, as it's written in Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret, or his secrets, unto his servants the prophets. And we're in turn revealing our Lord's secrets unto the elect of Israel. Okay? So, as the Lord's watchmen, his servants the prophets, us here at Great Millstone, we're telling you that the end is very near. Okay, we can see the end of this man's system, and it ain't no 1,000 years from now. As Guerrilla Hebrew would tell you, he's a false prophet, so don't listen to him, because he's not measuring the times accurately. Anyway, you've also got Obadiah verse 7. How does it go? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, which this rift is reminiscent of what Yahushua was speaking about when we go here to the book of Matthew 12 and 25. Yeah. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. So we're currently still living in the kingdom of Esau through their revived Roman Empire, again in the form of NATO, the European Union, and America. But right now we're seeing division within their kingdom, which is ultimately going to lead to their destruction. It says, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So the house of Esau, Edom, the Edomites, is currently divided. Okay, again, the division, the rift that's happening between the United States, which is Esau's stronghold within the world, they're divided against their brothers out there in Europe, such as Great Britain, Germany, Italy, France, okay, and the list goes on. So this is what we're prophesying about: the division and destruction of Esau's kingdom. So anyway, let's get back into this article. It says, Starmer said he will raise military spending from 2.3% of Britain's GDP to 2.5% by 2027, and then again to 2.6% the following year, as a rift opens up between Trump and Europe over the future of the conflict. But he will fund the rise by cutting Britain's already depleted foreign aid budget, which will now fall to just 0.3% of the country's GDP. This government will begin the biggest sustained increase in defense spending since the end of the Cold War, Starmer told Parliament as he laid out the plans. So what does this mean biblically? What does this mean prophetically? Well, what we're looking at is the vision of Joel chapter 3, and we can start at verse 9. The point is in verse 10 though. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So right now, the nations around the world, the superpowers around the world, are preparing for war, because it's a time of war. Again, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 8, And we're heading into World War III, Revelation 11 and verse 14. The third woe. So right now, the nations are preparing for that war, also known as Armageddon, Revelation 16. Okay, and Armageddon ultimately is going to take place out there in the Middle East, in the desert of Saudi Arabia, the Persian Gulf, that region of the world. So the mighty men are being woken up through the Spirit. Okay. Verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So plowshares and pruning hooks, these are instruments that you would use in agriculture on the farm. Swords and spears, of course, we know these are weapons of war. And the modern day weapons of war are these nuclear missiles, ICBMs, because that's how World War III is going to be fought. Okay. You can refer to Isaiah 9 verse 5. It speaks about how this up and coming battle, the battle of Armageddon, if you will, or World War III, is going to be fought with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, again, that burning and fuel of fire is going to come from your modern day swords and your modern day spears, which are the nuclear missiles. So in essence, our Lord is giving a divine instruction to these nations and their leaders through the Spirit to take the money that they would use for stuff like foreign aid, you know, as we're reading here in this article, international aid, take that money and invest it in defense spending, i.e. weapons of war, nuclear weapons, ICBMs. That's what we're reading about here. Okay, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And this is why you're getting nations like North Korea boasting about their nuclear weapons, right? A country that was once weak, such as North Korea, now they're on a come up with their nuclear weapons, you know, transforming into a superpower. And, you know, they're parading their military might. And now they can say that they're as strong as, you know, nations like the United States, China, Russia, you know, all these different nations that have nuclear weapons. That's exactly what's happening. And as a matter of fact, I've got a tweet here that I want to bring out. This is from Jeremy Corbyn. It says, the government has announced it will pay for more weapons and bombs by cutting support for the world's poorest people. Again, Joel 3 verse 10 is in full effect. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. The government has announced it will pay for more weapons, which are nuclear weapons, and bombs by cutting support for the world's poorest people. A deplorable decision that will only create a more unstable and unequal world. What is the government doing to bring about peace? Well, here's the thing. We're not living in a time of peace, okay? We're living in a time of war. Let's get that for you. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, point being in verse 8. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 8 says, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And what the masses of people don't understand is that we're living in a time of war, okay? And not just any old war, but this is going to be the war to end all wars, okay? World War III. And it's going to bring about the complete destruction, the complete end of Esau's kingdom. And if you're measuring the times, you know, you'll see that. But right now you have certain false prophets out there that don't know what time it is, that are telling you that we have about, or that we could be here for another 1,000 years. This is why Yahweh Shai said in Matthew 16 verse 3. Well, let me start from verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the sign of the times? So this is why you got guys like Alazar of the Sakari, Guerrilla Hebrew, talking about how we may be here for another 1,000 years, because he's not discerning the signs of the times. All right, and the signs of the times clearly let us know that we're living, or that we're fastly approaching World War III, also known as the Third Woe. Again, Revelation 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past, and the third woe cometh quickly. Anyway, I pray and hope that you brothers and sisters out there were edified. And until next time, I'll say Shalom.